Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame again. So I have watched the third episode of To Catch a Beautician. Hopefully this will be a much shorter video because the person who came forward this time is in serious denial, and we'll get into that. And I'm just glad that they didn't try to act like anybody who has eyes doesn't understand what's going on. So anyway, for the sake of this recap review, I'll go into some detail about how we got to this point. So the client this time, which I was wondering when they were going to actually introduce a male client, was this guy who is an up-and-coming artist. I think I've seen him like randomly throughout social media at times. But yeah, I think his name is, oh my gosh, Soulaire or something like that. I might be saying it wrong. But anyway, he is actually being backed by some people who are in the industry that I know by name. The main one, for instance, the name that he did drop was B Slade. Look, listen, if you don't know who B Slade is, I can't help you. You need to look him up. The man is amazing. I have heard about this man for as long as I can remember. But anyway, he got behind him on one of his songs that he dropped, and he's been pushing for the last couple of months or whatever. So he actually has a photo shoot or video that he's supposed to shoot, but he's insecure about what has happened to his hair. So the backstory is, he has this friend that he's known for quite some time, and she's a kitchen beautician, and it's like a really close friend of his. So she heard about what he was gonna do and offered up her services to him. So she came to his house and was doing a sew-in or whatever, and he had leave out. So he's trying to make it seem as though his hair was burned off, his edges are gone, and she has burned his hair and now it's thinned out. So eventually he takes his cap off, and I look, and I'm really looking at the screen just like the way I'm looking right now because I'm reliving the moment, but I'm really looking like, sir, so you mean to tell me that you trying to make everybody else that's watching you unveil what your hair looks like in this moment, you trying to make us believe that somehow your friend burned your edges off and pushed your hairline back and your hair is thinning, all because the flat iron was too hot? Sir, I'm looking at male pattern baldness. I don't understand what you're talking about. Your hair is thinning out and you are going bald. I'm trying to understand why you trying to say that your friend is the one who caused this damage. But okay, I'm gonna let you talk. I'm gonna let you live a little bit, but not really. But I'm really like y'all, I was so tired. I had to pause it and I went off. I was just like, what is he talking about? But anyway, y'all, you can tell, and like he has like, woo, he has a humongous forehead. I'm not trying to read. I mean, he can't help that. But I'm just saying, you already have a humongous forehead. You probably didn't have that much to begin with long before you even met her. I don't know when his male pattern baldness started, but you can tell if you have eyes that he has male pattern baldness going on, and he is in denial about it. Y'all, anyway, the way that they were talking to him, meaning Tamar and Johnny, I was like, y'all not for to sit up here and try to make it seem like, ooh, it's a tragedy. She messed him up. She thinned him out. I was like, I know good and well now. You supposed to know. You supposed to know that this is male pattern baldness going on now. What is going on? Okay, so they end up luring his friend there, and her name is Stephaniée. And the girl is gorgeous, to me at least. She's very gorgeous. She seems really, really sweet and all that. They lure her there, and they're talking to her, and they show some of her work, and they actually find out after she's been lured there that she's a kitchen beautician. And so Tamar is in the back like she normally is, hiding with what I told y'all, Soulaire. However, this is his stage name, I'm presuming, because later on in the show, she refers to old dude as Jay, and I'm thinking that's just a part of what his real name is, but whatever. or his actual name is Jay. But anyway, y'all, he said something about hide your edges, hide your leave out, and I was just like, okay. Anyway, like I said, this is when we find out that she's a kitchen beautician, and so Tamar tells Johnny through, their communication that she is unlicensed. So he, takes it upon himself to say, when did you get your license, or how long have you had your license? And she was like, well, I actually don't have my license. And the pictures were shown, and he was like, everything that I'm seeing looks pretty good. And Tamar was even like, yeah, it looks amazing. She has a great potential. She just needs the education. So then they end up showing a picture of him. And so she's like, who is that? I don't know who that is. And the friend is looking like, okay, I feel like she's trying me right now. What you mean? And so she was like, I feel really sad. I don't know whose hair this is. Whoever this woman is, whoever she is, or whoever the person is. Like, he really became very offended when she said that, because she didn't even know that any of this had gone on. She didn't say, he didn't come to her and was like, girl, you messed my hair up, or can you fix this, or what can be done, or nothing. Like, she didn't even know this was a situation. He really enjoys and is so in it for their friendship that he was kind of scared to confront her about the situation, y'all. Anyway, y'all, Tamar and old dude finally come from the back, and they talking, and he was like, look, I just never confronted you. I'm having these issues. So then she was like, okay, let me see, because he is quick to put the cap back on. He done took the cap off. So she was like, well, I just want to see what I did, because I don't understand. I really want to see this up close. So he bends over to show his hair, and she was even like, remember that day when we did this? You were talking about how your hair is thinning, and I was saying, well, why don't we do it like this? He was like, girl, I was not finna say yes to a swoop. No, I did not want to do a swoop. And so I was like, okay. But she did address the fact that he had thinning, but he was wanting to be in denial about it. But y'all, eventually Johnny goes into the confessional, and he says something about how he is not addressing everything, and he is obviously in denial about something. And then, y'all, they kind of ambushed old boy and had him meet up with one of the people who Johnny has worked with for quite some time, and she specializes in stuff like this. She goes on to tell him basically that he has male pattern baldness, and that the thinning that she was seeing throughout his head, because like whole like strands that should have been in his head weren't there, she could tell that the thinning was from male pattern baldness and all this other stuff. So he's looking confused the whole time, like, what? They even showed him in a confessional looking crazy. Like, I don't understand what they're trying to say, but I don't like what I'm hearing right now. Y'all, old girl was watching the whole time, and he was just in denial about it. Y'all, eventually Johnny took her to the back and had her to like kind of practice on somebody. And what they're going to do is they're going to do like a partial like situation, making some edges for him, and incorporating it like that. So when they actually came back and they had him already braided up and all this other stuff, she was going to sew the track down, and the rest of the hair was going to be added on in some way, added back on. I don't know if they ended up using a new weave or not, but it was one piece that they had created so that he can have edges or whatever. I guess because I can tell that it's not his hair, I was like, okay. I mean, but for her to have done it, it looked good or whatever, but I could tell it was not his hair, but okay. They ended up inviting B-Slade there to witness all of this stuff, because this boy shelved his whole project because he was not going to be able to deliver, because he felt like he looked crazy out here. So he was like, I'm not trying to do this video or do no kind of other promoting when my hair out here looking like a fool. So he ended up doing his grand reveal, and I guess B-Slade was all right with it or whatever, and he lives for it. He kept on shaking it and doing all this other stuff. But y'all, he needs to just embrace that. A lot of men need to embrace that they have male pattern baldness and cut that mess off and just accept it. I'm just like, just why? Why y'all want to hold on to that mess. Unless you plan on getting a man unit made, what is you holding on to this mess for? They be looking a whole fool out here. And my daddy has definitely been somebody who tried to hold on to it for as long as he could, because when he had hair back in the day, he had hair. Like, I'm trying to like really show you, he had hair. He was froed out. He had a lot of hair, but he started losing his hair. He tried to hold on to it for the longest. He's pretty much accepted it now. He's almost 70. He got a couple of years before he becomes 70. And I'm just like, please give up. Please give up. But anyway, y'all, this episode was so, like, I was just like, bruh, please accept this mess, because you are balding, male pattern baldness. I'm not trying to laugh or joke on nobody, but I'm just saying a lot of people need to just accept it. Men and women who are going through this. Anyway, I'll be back later on. Bye, y'all.